As the meeting comes to a close, I realize we haven't once touched any paint or pens today, and I feel somewhat disappointed. The mayor suddenly appears next to us. He seems to be still fired up from the speech he delivered. His cologne smells musky and at the same time giving me an instant headache. Even though I'm not sensitive to perfumes, he's looking at Rin like a hungry wolf. Suzuka, do you remember Miss Shoujo, who visited us at the festival? I probably pronounced that name wrong, but you remember her, right? I think so. I'm going to tell you something amazing. The thing is, she's a very well-known gallerist around here. It turns out I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work put on display. He ends his sentence with a dramatic gesture. It seems he's expecting Rin to show some sort of joyous shocked reaction at such grand news, but she just stares at him blankly. Magnificent, isn't it? This could be a real chance for us to get ahead, girl. But... Now, I know what you're about to say. Yes, it wouldn't be a simple affair. But I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we even made it big. This could be the first step, and then when the word is out, we strike while the iron is hot, right in the eye. Yeah, it does sound pretty great if you're into that kind of thing. See, we should definitely not let this one pass, am I right? I don't really. Rin seems to be trouble for some reason. I can't figure out why. What the mayor is saying does indeed sound like a possibly great thing. She looks pretty down, though, and confused. I've never seen her like this. So, what do you think? Rin looks up to her teacher's glowing face, then back down at her desk. I'll think about it. The mayor is at last taken slightly aback by Rin's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles widely at her and gently pats her hand. Good girl! The club meeting is finally over, and as I lazily collect my things and help clean up, I start feeling exhausted. For some reason, there isn't much to do, however, so it's over quickly. I catch up to Rin, who left the club room just a moment earlier. So we're walking downstairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Nomiya's passionate speech about art, and Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her. Well, it's kind of odd, really. She claims that she, doesn't really think at all, but she tends to be in her own little world a lot, so she must think a lot and is just simply not letting anyone know what she's actually going through her mind. Not an unusual state for her, I've learned, but something about her expression makes me feel uneasy. Penny for your thoughts? That'd be too cheap. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'd be fraud too, like stealing candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is this about what the teacher said, getting your work out on display and all that? She doesn't answer but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along the hallway. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. I think she really is troubled. One company? I can't promise much help with their thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do, and I'm supposed to do some light exercise. If you like. Rin leads me outside to the wall behind the dome trees. There's a small back gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. Leads to a shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate is rusty, as if it hasn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. Path leads deep into the forest. Tall cover and maple trees rustle in the wind. The canopies creating patches of chill air hanging in a place where the shadows fall. Forest smells strongly of earth. I almost feel cold, even though the midsummer day is as hot as ever. Rin trudges ahead like a sleepwalker, sure-footed, but with no apparent destination in mind. Thoughts seem to be somewhere else. I follow a few steps behind, taking more care to watch where my feet land. Path follows the land uphill at a low angle. Sometimes I get a little detours downhill before climbing back upwards. The muted brown and grey trunks line the path on both sides, peppered with ferns and other undergrowth. After a little while I start getting worried. The path is still wide and clear, so there's no chance of getting lost. It doesn't look like we have any particular destination. You know, I wonder where this is actually from. Because it's clear that all the images are probably, you know, photographs and like kind of like got an effect like over it to kind of, I don't know, make it seem like it blend a bit better with the art style. So I wonder where these images are taken from. There's nothing wrong with a bit of aimless wandering around, but I don't want to go so far that I get too tired to walk back. I'm starting to get a little winded and my legs feel heavy. I want to stop and get a chance to catch my breath and rest my legs, but rain keeps on going. You know, in places like this, they all kind of look the same. If you've been to like, you know, areas that have loads of trees. It doesn't necessarily have to be a forest or anything like that. Just like loads of trees around and have like a slightly open area. It all has that samey kind of look, but yet different at the same time. Where are we going? Or are we going anywhere at all? Worry tree. I see. So, what exactly is the worry tree? It's just a tree like this. If he stops in front of a particularly large maple, that might or might not be the worry tree. Flushed green leaves sway slightly in the breeze blowing through the small clearing we entered. I guessed as much. There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery. If you're miserable only by people, I mean me, and the tree isn't really called anything. So, if you're miserable, you talk to a tree about it? No, what? You can't talk to trees. What do you think I am, crazy? No, I didn't mean it like that. Well, maybe you talk to trees. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that you're crazy, even though you probably are if you talk to trees. I wouldn't recommend it in either case. People would think you're a weird person. Says the weird person. No, I just forget it. But what about people that talk to their pets and all that? I mean, they don't understand what you're saying either. She looks mildly confused, for which and then there's other things, you know. I mean, what am I doing essentially here? Sure, I'm making a video and all that, but I'm essentially just talking into a freaking screen when I'm recording. But it's just like, and like, they're like small things in life, like where you just be like, trying to get something to work and you'll just shout out loud to it, just like, fucking work, you son of a bitch. It's just like, it's not gonna work just by saying that, is it? It doesn't, it's an inanimate object. A tree is actually a living thing, but it's not gonna exactly talk back to you, is it? That'd be freaky, wouldn't it? Just like, I've come to wallow in my misery, what was it again? Worry tree. It's like, what is it you have to say? It's just like, what, you talk? Is just like, and the way you replied there, Mr. Tree. Are you like, you know, confessional or some shit? It's like, I don't know. You know, another thought about trees, like, you know, trees get cut down a lot, but if trees could, like, add the ability to think and actually communicate with us, I wonder what they'd say would be worse, having a branch chopped off by humans and all that, or those bloody woodpeckers. They'd probably be like, I don't know what's bloody worse. The woodpecker gives me a mighty headache, but the frickin' humans chop my fucking head off. I mean, I don't know which is worse, to be honest. Although it seemed pretty obvious, but still. Alright, I'm good at forgetting things. So, why are we here? Are you miserable then? I can't read the expression she makes. I hate how bad I am at interpreting Rin's mood. She doesn't answer right away, as if she herself isn't quite certain of her own mood. The blank stare changes into a more difficult expression as she shuffles her weight around. Finally coming to a conclusion, Rin shrugs her shoulders. I've grown to seriously dislike that gesture. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe I just feel like, kind of like I'm sinking underwater. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where I should go, that's all. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I thought walking might help. Kind of like, if I go somewhere, I would know where I should go. I don't really know if I did. If it did. It really would have made sense if walking had helped to decide where to go. So, you don't want to try it again, vision, or rather you don't know if you do, can't decide? Rin doesn't say anything for a while, wrenching her thoughts in silence. The quiet is broken by birdsong from somewhere in the treetops. Now, the weird thing is, you can hear birds, and yet, my bird is not like, just like, oh, all the birds! Well, he was just there. But you think it's become more just... But nope. somewhere in the treetops, followed by rustling leaves as the bird takes flight. I haven't much sure if I can have a thing like that. So far I've only painted for myself. I don't think I could have my things on display the way I am now. This me couldn't do it. The reason sounds like a weak excuse. I make my trademark frown, but she doesn't notice it. I don't get it. He just certainly thinks you could. I don't think he'd suggest it otherwise. Sounds like he's called in favors from his friends too. I know he's really done a lot for me, but this might be too much. Becoming someone who can do it might be pretty hard. Maybe I can do it at all. He can't do it for me, and if I let him try, I just sink deeper and deeper. Rin stands in front of the large maple and turns away from me. I want to close the few feet of distance between us, and I don't know, my irritation is suddenly gone and I start feeling sympathetic to her. I know exactly how you feel. Well, maybe I don't, but still. I think I haven't felt like I was actually in control of my own life this whole year. I'm just helplessly going along with the flow. Like, I'm new to this school, I didn't really choose it myself, and I certainly didn't choose this type of time in my life to learn that I have this condition. I still can't casually say the word aloud. It's like, yeah, it's exactly like being underwater, like I can't even breathe. Rin turns to face me again, a sad expression on her face. Is that why you look so sad all the time? I don't want to look sad like you. Do I look to you like you look to me? I don't look sad all the time. I just don't know what I should be feeling, what kind of face I should be making. I know that feeling too. Meanwhile, do I look sad now? Not really look like you always do, I think. Well, that expression has a kind of somewhat worried look, so I suppose the worry tree thing seemed a bit fitting. But I'm sinking. I should try to float up like a rubber duck, quack quack, all yellow and creepy. I have to think for a few seconds about which direction I should pursue in this conversation, now realize that it doesn't matter. Do you think rubber ducks are creepy? You don't? I think they look very creepy. Everything that has eyes but isn't alive is very disturbing, like rubber ducks and reflections in mirrors. She plops down on the forest bed, leaning on the maple she named the worry tree. After wondering what to do for a minute, I sit down 3 feet apart from her. Pardon me. The forest envelops us in its embrace, and its stillness falls upon the two of us. Then a tree branch does the well. Ow! We sit there without speaking for a long while. I can literally feel the time passing. Patches of sunlight litter the small clearing in a pattern that echoes the maple canopies. One of them falls directly on me, warming me all the way to the bone. I wonder what I could do for myself and maybe for Rin. For now, I just keep watching her from this distance. Sometimes she cranes her neck all the way back so much that it looks almost painful, and stares up at the small patch of sky visible past the canopy of the worry tree. Sometimes she just stares blankly ahead, as if seeing something just beyond her reach. She keeps whispering to herself, but so quietly that I can't hear her, even though I'm sitting right next to her. I only see her lips moving like she was in the middle of a distant dream. I realize that right now I no longer feel any of the intense loneliness I feel at night just before falling asleep. Might be more like Rin than I thought. I can either give up and stay submerged under the weight of all the crap in my life, or try to change myself for the better. The decision is different, yet the same. And unlike her, I know for sure that I can't stay like this forever. I have to change. What? It's just like, so, do you want to be more like Emmy or Rin? Well, they both have their own problems, but they're very different people at the same time, with very different problems. We learned Emmy's problem in her route, you know, but see what choice we go with. But it's pretty obvious we go with that, isn't it? Rin could probably do it, even though she seems to doubt herself. I have no doubts about her strength. She could do it even if she can't. That's kind of a contradiction. You can do it, but you can't. Well, you can do it. Even if you can't do it, you can do it. I don't know how this makes sense. Makes me feel a little better too, and I lean back against the tree, breathing out deeply as if for the first time in a long time. We stay that way in a small clearing until the angle of sun changes and the chilly shadows deepen. No longer warm where we sit, we leave the forest, returning along the same path we took coming in. Doesn't seem like Rin has come to a decision. I wonder if it was a bad idea for me to come along. It's alright, I don't mind. I'm sure the trees and dirt and rocks will mind Al. Did you mind? No, not at all. I think it helped me too. While we walk back towards the dormitory, the sky changing to a deep ultramarine. Summer stars twinkle softly from between spots in the canopy, barely visible like tiny fireflies. I become very self-conscious about Rin's presence. Haven't thought much about girls since things fell apart with Iwanako. It's kind of the same situation as then, but to be honest, I don't think it really counts for much, not with Rin. And yet it feels good walking next to her, even if it isn't something more than this. At first I think Rin agitated me quite a bit with her unpredictable behavior, but recently I feel I haven't had to be on my toes so much. I managed to let myself go a little, but it makes me feel satisfied, even though ultimately I think it's more thanks to Rin than myself. She seems to be disinterested in a huge number of things, but something in her makes me try harder than I normally would. It's not that I want to impress her. I think that truly impressing Rin would take near superhuman effort just because of how she is. Instead, it's because there is this relentless feeling inside me that I shouldn't let Rin down. It's really weird. I wonder why I started thinking like that. I don't even know what sort of expectations she has about pretty much anything. So how could I let her down? Rin has this unassuming air around her, and she doesn't really talk about stuff very often. Even today's confession of her self-doubt caught me a little bit off guard. I feel like I want to talk more with her. Realization suddenly dawns on me that Rin is basically the only person I talk to nowadays. Apart from whatever I have to endure from Shizune, Misha, or Kenji, I feel slightly depressed. In front of the dormitory, as if summoned by my dark thoughts, we run into Kenji himself. It feels very odd seeing him outside, breathing fresh outdoor air. At least it's already dusk. Marshalling its neck, Kenji would disintegrate upon direct exposure to the sun. Kenji himself seems very insecure as well, standing around looking like he's waiting for something, but doesn't know himself what it might be. Hey, Kenji, what are you doing? Hello. Who are you? It's me, Hisao. I'm not sure if you know Tezuka from class 3-4. From his face I can see that not only he doesn't know Rin, he also can't see her from this short distance. Wait. So he doesn't know her? Oh, sup, dudes? Kenji sticks his hand enthusiastically forward, almost straight into Rin's stomach. What? Rin looks at his outstretched hand in confusion until Kenji clears his throat and retracts the hand. There's something almost cool that he manages to do with social awkwardness. It's not like I'm the most suave man on the planet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to even approach Kenji's level. I think I respect Kenji a little bit more. So, are you waiting for someone? He leans closer and lowers his voice to an agitated whisper. I see his facial muscles twitching. Come on, man, you know I can't talk about stuff here in public. They might be listening. I'm gonna have to go pick up some stuff from somewhere. And I don't want those stupid student council hags to get on my case. Also, I don't trust your friend. Nothing personal. Are you sure you're trustworthy? I briefly considered telling Kenji about Rin's gender, but as it might end up badly for one or both of them, I decided against. Yeah, I'm sure. He turns from me to Rin, and I immediately get the feeling that I have to prevent them from talking to each other with whatever means necessary. However, there's little I can do now apart from physical violence. In that case, would you be interested in knowing about the worst threat to mankind since they invented vegetarianism? It sounds like a vacuum cleaner salesman. I thought it was Sunday. I see, you're not in the know. Yeah, man, I've talked about man-eating cows here. Very few people know what I know, so I'm not surprised. We can't talk here, but if you like a pamphlet, come to my room after curfew on Mondays or Wednesdays. He suddenly reaches to his pocket and draws out a ballpoint pen and what looks like a convenience store receipt. Kenji fiercely scribbles on a scrap of paper and then thrusts it towards Rin. Here's the password. Memorize it and eradicate any trace of this document. Eat it, burn it, dissolve it in acid, whatever. I take the receipt from Kenji as Rin is unable to do so and glance at it. It's indeed a receipt, apparently for 2 rice balls and 5 boxes of matches. If it's not planned to burn anything down. On the other side is written just one word. Honey muffin. I show it to Rin too, but she shows no reaction. Thank you. Yo, Sal, you're still in that club, the Club of Dark Arts? Fine arts. Anyway, yeah, actually, just had a meeting today. It's just like the Dark Arts. This is some Harry Potter shit going on, isn't it, Hisao? I knew it! You're in on this shit! Still got your wits about you, no shitty mind tricks going on. Nothing personal, man, but I have to be on top of things. Can't get all of my pants down. Speaking of which, you should really take showers a bit later. Gotta respect that personal space. Nothing personal. Kenji looks around as if he heard something and then straightens his jacket. Okay, I gotta scoot now before it gets too late. Later, dudes. Good luck. Kenji takes off rapidly towards the main gate. Rin looks after him, frowning. We watch after Kenji's diminishing figure in silence. What's wrong with him? Technically speaking, I think he's legally blind. Oh, I see. Well, it's a bit more to it than that. I can merely tell from the envelope that it's not about official matters of any sort. Someone actually wrote me an old-fashioned handwritten paper letter. That came out of nowhere, didn't it? It's like, sure, it appears in every route, but it feels like really out of nowhere there, doesn't it? Who bothers doing something like that in this day and age anyway? Yet, as unlikely as the prospect of receiving one sounds, there's definitely a letter lying on my desk. Just like, well, you don't seem to have computers or the internet or anything like that. Or you just never use it. But I think I'll call it a part here. So, I shall see you next time, viewers. See you next time.